Hello guys again. So continuing with the equivalent system series, let's try this problem out now. This problem is asking you to replace all of those forces at moment for only one force acting along this line measured from the point A. There are people that do this at once. I like to do it by parts. So whenever the problem is asking you to do that, finding the equivalent single equivalent resultant force acting along a line from measured from a point, what I want to do is finding the resultant force, which is not going to change no matter where I measure it from, but I want to find also the resultant moment with respect to the point that the problem is asking you to measure it from. Now for finding the resultant force is really easy. You just find the resultant force in X and the resultant force in Y. Given that you have these two components, remember this one here is 4/5 times that, which is just 120 pounds, and this one here will be 3/5 multiplied by 150, which is just 90 pounds. For this other one, you have the angle. So basically what the problem is telling you, use the angle. This component will be the adjacent, so it's going to be 50 cosine of 30, and this will be 50 sine 30. Okay, quick checkup. I recommend you highly do that because it has happened to tons of people, including myself, but I figured it out fairly quick. But if you don't, your problem is going to be wrong. You know how much is the tangent of 45, right? This is something that people know it by heart, or the sine of 30. But the tangent of 45 is 1. So the first thing that I want you to do with the calculator, whatever calculator you're using, is just do that quick checkup. Look at that. It should be 1, and it's 1.55. What that means in reality is that my system is not in degrees. It's in radians or gradients. I don't know. So check the mode, and you can see here radians. I don't need radians, I need degrees right there. And now you just quit from this window and repeat tangent of 1 and tangent of 45, I'm sorry, tangent of 45, and that should be 1. Now I am certain that my calculator is in degrees, which is what I need. So let's do that. Now, once I have all my forces decomposed like that, I do summation of forces in X, and of course I'm assuming this is positive, and in Y I'm assuming this is positive. So what do you have in X? You have 120 acting in this direction, plus 50 sine 30, and that is 120, sine 30 is 0.5 times 50, 25, 145 pounds acting in this way. When you do summation of forces in Y, you have this component, which is 90, and you have this component, which is 50 cosine 30 degrees. And then you have 90 plus 50 cosine 30, and that's 133.3. 133.3 acting in this direction. Okay, good. Now we have a resultant force in X and a resultant force in Y. Of course, this is pounds. If I want to find the magnitude of the resultant force, the magnitude of the resultant force will be just the square root of this square plus this square, and that will be 197. Let me calculate that. Yeah, 197 pounds. Now, I like plotting these two. This is 133.3, and this is 145. So I complete the box or apply the parallelogram law, and my resultant force will be this. So this is 197. Now I can calculate my angle in whatever way I want to calculate my angle. So if you want to calculate this angle here, you can say inverse cosine of this divided by 197. If I want to use the sine, I can say inverse sine of this side, which is 133.3 divided by 197. Or if I want to do what you always do, inverse tangent of this, which is 133.3 divided by 145, 133.3 divided by 145, and that will give you an angle of 42.6 degrees. Now we need to calculate the resultant moment at A. Let's start with this force. The value of this force is 120. I'm going to assume that counterclockwise is positive. So the value of this force is 120. And the force is horizontal, so I need the vertical distance between the point and the force, and it's 2. Now this other component passes through the point, the line of action. That means that that force is not producing any rotation. It's just producing a translation, so it doesn't produce any moment. This other force here, the direction of rotation, you put your finger over there and apply the force in this direction, and the rotation is going to be counterclockwise, so positive for our assumption. Now this one is 50 sine 30. And this is a horizontal force. I need the vertical distance between this and the point A, meaning 6 feet. And I don't know what I put feet here if I didn't put pounds. I have to be consistent, right? But you know me. So then I apply this force. This is going to be like that, positive, positive. Now this other force here is 50 cosine 30. Now this force is vertical, so I need the horizontal distance between this force and the point A, and that distance is 3. Multiply that by 3. Rotation, I put my finger and apply the force in this direction. The rotation is going to be like that, and according to our convention, that will be negative. And the part that tons of students miss and mess up the problem with is this one. You have to include that this is a moment created already. That doesn't mean that you have to multiply by any distance. The moment is already created, and it's a positive moment, so you have to add that moment into the summation of moments. Once you do this, you can calculate your resultant moment at A, and the resultant moment at A will be 120 times 2 is 240, 50 times sine 30 is 25 times 6 is 150. Then this one, it will be 150 cosine 30 minus 150 cosine 30 plus 500, and that will be 760.09 if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if I'm mistaken. I'm gonna redo it again. I think it's correct. So 760.096, so 760.1 pounds per foot. Okay, and the fact that it's positive, that means that it's acting counterclockwise. Now the problem wasn't asking me for these two intermediate steps or for this step, but now I can go and I can say this. I can say what the problem in reality asks is forget about all the forces, forget about this, forget about this, forget about this, and focus only on this resultant force. So I have to apply a resultant force somewhere at this angle, and that value of the resultant force is 197. We calculated before, and the angle is that value. Now the thing is that this force that has this component of 145 and this component of 133 has to be applied at that point. So I don't know what is the point. I'm gonna call it the distance D, but whenever I apply that force over there, has to produce this moment, and that's how the problem is going to be solved. So that 760.1 has to be equal to this distance D multiplied by the only component that is producing, this component doesn't produce moment with respect to the point A. So 145 horizontal force, vertical distance, and from here I can solve for D. And when I solve for D, 760.1 divided by 5.81 is 5.24 meter. And that's it. The result will be, if this is my problem here, I need to apply a force of 197 forming an angle of 42.6 at 5.24 meters along this line to produce the same effect. Now let's say that you solve the problem completely and then you misread, like happens all the time, and the problem was telling you, no, it's not with respect to A, it's with respect to B. So what is the big deal? It doesn't matter, because if this is with respect to A and I needed to express it with respect to B, the only thing that I have to do is say, oh, this distance is 2, this distance is 4, so with respect to the point, this is going to be with respect to the point A. But if I need it with respect to the point B, it will be only 6 minus 5.24 meters, which is 0.76 meters. And that will give you this distance instead of the other one. So be smart when you have that type of situations. That's all for this problem. Hope you like it. Keep watching, guys. Thank you for watching. See you next time.